Manchester United in the year 2026. Where will we be? Really interesting, really important, because there are people out there that have abandoned their principles of 3 or 4 months ago where it was full sale only, Glazers out. They've abandoned that to give Sir Jim a chance with the Glazers for 3 years on the pathway to a full sale. Some of us just can't drop that easily. We wanted a full sale. We wanted Glazers out. Qatar are out. Forget about Qatar. I mean, look, there's stuff coming out about Qatar now that you think, were they the right owners? I'd admit that. But ultimately, it was the only horse in the race for full sale. And, I would have took a full sale regardless. But it's gone. It's Sir Jim to work forward with. What will we do and where will we be in 2026? And there's a few things I want to talk about here that I think strategically we as a community can talk through and sort of predict where we will be. The first thing I want to say, in 2026, will Ten Hag be the manager of Manchester United? We are basically needing to realise that the year 2026 is 3 years away. But really, it's 2.5 seasons away, because the Glazers will not go in December 2026. That doesn't make sense. The summer of 2026 does. Well, I know the season's only just started, but really, there's only two summer transfer windows before 2026 summer, because that'll be the third summer transfer window. So there's not a lot of time when you think about it. You've got title winners this year, title winners next year, and then title winners in 2026. And that's it. There's 3 titles before Sir Jim will get hold of the club, potentially. Will Ten Hag be here in 2026? Honestly, I'd flip a coin on it. First things first, in 2026, will Ten Hag be the manager? I'd flip a coin on it, because that's 2.5 seasons away, 2 3/4 of a season away. And are Man United going to win the league in that time? I don't think so. Is Sir Jim desperate for progression in that time to maximise profit to be able to buy the Glazers out? Yes. Is it a manager that he's inheriting? Yes. So there could be a change of manager in that time. I hope it is Ten Hag, but I don't think there's any guarantee he will be the manager. Marek says, Mark, you're top class, and the reason why you have so many followers is that you can say very well what most of the fans think. They're bitter and jealous. Thank you very much, Marek. My mental health has been severely affected by the Glazers. God hope everyone is well, says Tarek. What came out from Guitar confused, says Sultan. They're out. Whoever says Mark looks like the same is watching the channel on 240p quality, says Sensei. And Mark, it's my 21st birthday for the 21st time. Who do you think our biggest targets in January are? Thanks for all you do. Sorry, Smitty, I'm going to ignore that question. I'm actually working through something that's going to take a few minutes here. We're talking about 2026 and where Man United's going to be, and I don't want it to be disjointed. So ask me again later, and I will reply about that. So first things first, will Erik Ten Hag be here in 2026? I'd flip a coin. Second question, will Manchester United have won a title in 2026 when Sir Jim Ratcliffe looks to take over the club from the Glazers? No. Is the firm answer on that? No. And this feeds into quite a few factors. Man United will not have won a title by the time Sir Jim Ratcliffe takes over the club full-time, if he takes over the club full-time in 2026. We're not winning the title this year, so that's 1 of 3 chances gone. Are we going to win the title next year? No, we're not. We're not. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Could we win it in the 3rd year? It's a stretch. Never say never, but I don't think we'll have won a title by the time Sir Jim Ratcliffe is looking to buy this club. So how will we look on the pitch in 2026, Mark? You're predicting we can't win the title in 3 years. So how will we look on the pitch? I think this is the most important question, and this is where you feed some things in. By the year 2026, where will the debt be? Still there. By the year 2026, how will we look for financial fair play? Pretty much the same. I think each summer we'll be able to spend about 150 million quid, but I think it will take 3 years to get anywhere near close to reducing that wage bill to a manageable level and reducing the players that are dragging us down. Whether that be a Harry Maguire, a Jadon Sancho, an Anthony Martial, and I'm not individualising the players, I'm talking about players that Ten Hag wants to move on that are on wages that we can't sell them for. I think that this 3-year plan for Sir Jim Ratcliffe has to be realistic, which is why I'm not looking forward to it, which is why I wanted a full sale. I think if we are going down this road, then we need to open our eyes. And I think that it will take 2 or 3 years to remove the Sanchos, the Martials, the Maguires, and the other players that are on big wages that no one else wants to buy. And it will take 2 or 3 years for us to take those hits. Jadon Sancho is a big hit on this football club. He's on 300 grand a week. He costs 75 million pounds. If he leaves the football club, there is absolutely no way of dressing it up other than tens of millions of pounds of loss. Or we turn it around and he stays and he becomes a really good player. So you've got two options there. So I don't see on the pitch a massive change for Manchester United to one, win titles, or two, have a team that's ready to win titles in 3 years' time. I think it's a much larger project. The example I would use is that if you look at the damage done to the club in the years before Ten Hag. So Solskjaer's 3 years were quite damaging. The last year of Mourinho was quite damaging. So if you say that's 4 years of damage, unless you are using a reset button where you throw loads of money at the club like Qatar or Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi, if you're going to do it the Sir Jim Ratcliffe way, I think it takes 4 years to right 4 years of mistakes because you don't have the reset button. You've got to do things gradually. You've got to look at the wage bill and gradually bring it down. You've got to open up financial fair play so you can spend more money. You've got to look at infrastructure, director of football, recruitment, CEO, stadia. All these things will take time unless you're going to go, there's 3 billion quid, let's get to work. Well, he's not, we don't think, and I'd be amazed if he's going to throw 3 billion at the club in 3 years when he doesn't even own it. So I think the next 3 years for Manchester United under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, for me, are very, very clear that lots and lots and lots of work is going to be done, but it's going to be like a listed building in the UK is a historic building that you cannot knock down. You can repair it and get it back to former glory, but you can't knock it down. And therefore, everything you do, whether it's changing the windows, fixing the brickwork, has to be done in the terms of that listed building and its protection. You can't just knock it down and rebuild it again. That's a reset button. We're not hitting the reset button. We're going to try and gradually restore Manchester United. And the restrictions that will be in place to do that mean it will take time. You can't walk into Manchester United tomorrow and say, bye-bye, Jadon Sancho, off you go. We're paying your contract up and we're letting you go for nothing. And then you turn around to the Glazers and go, that's just cost us about 70 million quid. And they go, yeah, we can't afford that. That's your budget from the summer gone. Like, we can't afford that. We're in massive debt. We've got repayments to make. We don't have that sort of money to do that unless we're not buying anyone in the summer. Jadon, come back. Quick, come back. Right. Are you sure we can't sort this out? Because we need to spend some money in the summer. So those sort of conversations need to be taken place. And how Sir Jim fixes that, I don't know. I do not know. But that's a problem. The stadium is going to cost a lot of money. Where will the stadium be in 2026? Well, we'll come back to that in a minute because I want to talk about where the team will be by 2026. I'm already saying, we're already agreeing, I don't think we're going to win a title in 3 years because of the enormity of the project. What will the squad look like in 2026? Will it be a team that still acquires players like Bruno Fernandes, Jadon Sancho, Paul Pogba, Casemiro, Anthony, 70 to 80 million pounds? Or will we change tact and go more down the Brighton route where you try and pick up really good players that are, a little bit less unknown, but can come into the club for cheap and overachieve? I think we will go down that route because Sir Jim Ratcliffe is a businessman. And I think when you go for somebody like Paul Mitchell or Michael Edwards, that's their job. The problem with that is no football club can just say, tonight, we're going to be like Brighton. Because everybody would be like Brighton. That takes at least 2 years of on-the-ball recruitment around scouts and coaching. And then it takes 2 years to build up the networks of scouts to get that working. So that won't even work until 2025, 2026 anyway. So I think United might go down that route of not spending 70, 80 million pounds on players anymore and recruiting younger, less unknown players. But it's going to take time. So short answer long, I suppose. I think by 2026, United will not have won a league title and may well be in a very similar situation to they are now, where I hope we are now, whereas we're a club fighting for top four. Some would say we're not even that at the moment. But I think by 2026, on the pitch, I don't see Man United anywhere other than fighting for third or fourth. So if that's going to be the case, we're not going to make a hell of a lot of money on the pitch. And you never are going to make a lot of money on the pitch. I don't think that's where Man United and Sir Jim are looking to go. I think the most important thing is the infrastructure and the plans. My personal feeling with Sir Jim Ratcliffe is that he is basically giving himself 3 years to build the foundations, that when he takes the club over in 2026, that's when it really starts.